What's going on YouTube? This is Rybo at the bench with another cut or carry watch review today. Very excited to look at another G-Shock. I'm a big G-Shock fan, and this was loaned in by my buddy Russ, so thank you Russ for that. So this is one of the classic square G-Shocks, kind of an updated, updated model of one of the classic kind of 80s style G-Shocks. You have that nice square with the yellow mirror reflective, which is a little bit throwbacky. To me, you have this on the nice combi bracelet, and this is a little bit different than the old combi bracelets, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But this is an interesting watch because this is the, I should really say what it is. This is the B5600. There's a couple different versions. I think that there's a negative display blue mirrored version and the positive display yellow. There may be one more, I can't remember, but those are the two that I've really seen. These go anywhere from 160 to 220 maybe, kind of depending. I've seen them fluctuate with the recession going on right now. I don't know how much that's affecting prices, but that's kind of what I've seen. So this is a solar G-Shock, which is always awesome. It is also a multi-band 6. So this is one of the radio-controlled G-Shocks, which is really cool. I used to have one and I sold it. And then this is also a Bluetooth G-Shock. So this connects to your phone. You can download the app and you can do all kinds of cool stuff there. So that is kind of what sets this apart from the, is it the 5610? I'm blanking on model numbers now because G-Shock always, or really Casio always just throws me off. But it's the one I'm thinking of is the red one that has solar and radio controlled, but is not Bluetooth. So this one is Bluetooth. What else? This has a resin case, obviously, has the resin combi bracelet, and this is 200 meters water resistant. All right, so things that I like about this G-Shock, and actually I guess I'll do one size comparison, which is just to this, which if you can read the back, this is the regular 5600, not solar, not radio controlled. This is just the cheaper version. You can see that I've sprayed bug spray and really messed up this resin case, but that's okay. So you can see a size comparison between these. These are essentially the same watch. I don't think there's really enough size difference there to justify me pulling out the calipers, but you can see very, very similar design. Really, the difference is the yellow and what's under the hood. So we'll get to that. All right, things that I like about this watch. First of all, the positive display. So I have a positive display here. You can see that it's a little bit different. I don't know if they use a different lens to give us more of the yellow color there. I think it's actually a different kind of material on oh my goodness, crystal. But either way, I love a positive display. Positive displays to me are the only ways to go with G-Shocks. I have owned a negative display, and while I think that it looks really cool, it is very, very difficult to read. And I think it's really just for looks. Not a ton of functionality to having a negative display. I think the other version of this has the negative display with the blue and black. After having one, that's really the only reason I ended up selling it, was because I couldn't stand the negative display. So I really like that this one has a positive display. I think it's really, really good. The other thing that I like is this combi bracelet. So you can see with my old combi bracelet, these are visually different. Well, one, because you can see I really tend to wear my gear and really demolish stuff, which is, I guess that's what you're supposed to do. So mine is torn up a little bit, but also, to my knowledge, this one is totally resin. This combi bracelet is completely resin and much lighter than this one. This one has resin links, but then the middle links here, I think, are metal. And so that, hence the combination bracelet, right? Combination metal and resin. I think that's what that denotes. This is a very, very comfortable bracelet, and I love this bracelet. This one, however, is much better. Number one, it's a lot lighter, and I'm going to see if my assumptions are correct. I have actually not measured this before, so I'm going to see if this is actually correct. I expect this watch is a little bit lighter, so 2.8 ounces and 3.3, so yeah, half an ounce. And I think that's pretty much due to the bracelet here. This bracelet is super, super comfy. I'm throwing it on the right wrist today. Very, very lightweight, conforms to the wrist. Just beautiful links there. Very, very, very comfortable. And I actually think it's going to wear better than the original combi bracelet, because you can see the places that gets scratched is on the metal links there. So I think it'll wear pretty nicely. I think it'll age very nicely. And all in all, incredibly comfortable bracelet, and one that I've really, really enjoyed wearing. Weight and size overall, I guess I'll throw it on the left wrist as well. Weight and size are excellent. I mean, this is a great size watch for many people, including myself, and the bracelet, like I said, just incredible. Very, very lightweight. You really don't notice this on the wrist at all, and that's really awesome. That's one of my favorite things about a G-Shock, especially on a combi bracelet or combi style bracelet. It's thrown on the wrist. Don't even think about it. Super lightweight. Doing yard work, that kind of thing. Fantastic option for that. Other things I like, the case. So I am a sucker for square G-Shocks. I absolutely love them. This is no exception. I love the look of a square G-Shock. I think it's got that cool digital retro vibe, kind of robot looking. But what sets this one apart, and really the 5610 as well, is that milled looking case back. Really, really crisp. You can compare it to something like this, if I can get both of these in the same shot. So you can see there maybe. This is really not going very well. Let me try this. You can see there, very nice milled case back with some nice contouring, as opposed to just a flat piece of metal there. That's one detail that I've always enjoyed. I really enjoyed that on my old 5610, so that's very nice. So case shape and the case back, both really nice. I obviously love the fact that it's solar and radio controlled. That leads to more accurate timekeeping. Plus, if you're a nerd like me, it's awesome to see when it actually syncs up with Fort Collins and gets the real time. That is really, really cool. I'm a set it and forget it kind of person, so that always works out really, really well. And the fact that it's Bluetooth, I mean, I'll talk about that in a little bit, but the fact that you have the added ability to do things through the app, I think is really, really cool. If nothing else, Casio is always driving technology and innovation. I think it's really awesome that they would allow something like that. It's even if it's not something I would necessarily play around with all the time, it is a very cool feature. And finally, the other thing I like about this watch is the pushers. So one of the only issues that I have really with square G-Shocks are the pushers, and you can see why on this, which granted is a lower quality model, but you can see that they have a tendency to be very, very recessed. The quality control on the pushers is not great, and that is just nearly impossible to actually push. That is very difficult to push. I'm doing it, but you still have to kind of get a nail in to do that. You know, you can just see that's not super easy to do. Yeah, that's not great. This, I think, works very well. You can easily get in there. I don't know if you can see that lighting up, but you can cycle through, I think, fairly easily. Not as good as something like the World Timer, but I think that works very well. Things that I dislike about this watch, so the metallic finish I'm just not a fan of. Too shiny for me, just don't really like it. I can see the appeal, but not for me. The yellow, also not a fan of. I like the blue more, just not my color. And then finally, really the only thing, this is getting really, really close to a smartwatch for me. I'm not a smartwatch guy. I hate Apple Watches and all of those. I don't even know Garmin's and whatnot. The fact that you can control this with Bluetooth, change the time zone, set alarms, do find my phone, that kind of stuff, that's getting really, really close to a non-traditional watch. That's a really dumb thing for me to complain about, because I'm talking about a digital watch here and Casio, which kind of drives technology. But for me, it's getting very, very close to a smartwatch, and I am just an old soul and can't really stand that. All in all, I think it's a fantastic watch. I think it's very comfortable. I think the bracelet alone is worth the money. Cut or carry for me, I'm going to say cut for this watch, really just because, you know, looking at $200 for a watch like this, when I look at what I did with this G-Shock here and how I ruined it with bug spray, buying a $200 resin watch is just going to be a really tough thing for me. I've done it. I bought the 5610 when it was near $200, I believe. But that's just going to be a really tough thing. I think if I were going to buy one, I'd probably get the blue, but then that has a negative display, and I don't really like it. So really, I'd probably just end up with a positive display 5610. That'll probably suit most of my needs. I would most likely never use the Bluetooth function. But all in all, I still think it's a very solid watch, which is not surprising from Casio. Hope you have enjoyed this review, and I'll see you next time.